Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and gentle young woman named Cinderella. She was the daughter of a loving couple, but her mother passed away when she was very young, leaving her father heartbroken. He decided to marry again, hoping to provide Cinderella with a mother's love and companionship. Cinderella's new stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was a cold and calculating woman who had two daughters of her own, Anastasia and Drusilla. From the moment they moved into the grand castle, it was clear that Lady Tremaine favored her own daughters over Cinderella. As the years passed, Lady Tremaine's true nature became more apparent. She made Cinderella's life a living nightmare, forcing her to do all the household chores while her own daughters lazed around and enjoyed a life of luxury. Cinderella's days were filled with sweeping, scrubbing, and endless chores, but despite her hardships, she remained kind and hopeful, just as her mother had taught her. One fateful day, an invitation arrived at the castle. The kingdom was buzzing with excitement because the prince was throwing a grand ball, and everyone was invited. Cinderella's stepsisters were overjoyed and immediately began planning their outfits for the event. Cinderella, too, dreamt of attending the ball, even if just for one magical night. She imagined herself in a beautiful gown, dancing with the prince under the shimmering chandeliers. She knew her chances were slim, but she couldn't help but wish upon the stars. Lady Tremaine, however, had no intention of allowing Cinderella to go to the ball. She wanted to ensure that her own daughters had the best chance of winning the prince's heart. So, she piled Cinderella with even more chores, making it impossible for her to prepare for the ball. The stepmother was determined to keep Cinderella's dreams from coming true. One evening, as the sun set and tears welled up in Cinderella's eyes, a soft, melodious voice caught her attention. She followed the sound to the garden, where she discovered a remarkable sight. A beautiful woman, dressed in an ethereal gown, was sitting on a stone bench. Her hair shimmered like spun gold, and her eyes sparkled like the brightest stars. Cinderella gasped in awe, for it was her fairy godmother who had come to visit. The fairy godmother smiled kindly at Cinderella and said, "My dear child, why do you weep so?" Cinderella replied, "I long to go to the ball, but my stepmother and stepsisters have made it impossible for me. They've given me so many chores that I have no time to prepare." The fairy godmother's eyes twinkled with mischief. "Dry those tears, my dear. You shall go to the ball." Cinderella couldn't believe her ears. "But how, fairy godmother? I have nothing to wear." The fairy godmother waved her wand, and in an instant, Cinderella's tattered clothes transformed into a breathtaking gown, the color of the midnight sky, adorned with delicate crystals that shimmered like stars. Her worn-out shoes became glass slippers that sparkled with every step. "Now, my dear," said the fairy godmother, "I shall grant you one more gift to make your evening truly magical." With a wave of her wand, a pumpkin from the garden turned into a magnificent carriage, pulled by 4 white horses. And a group of mice scurried forward to become a team of elegant horses. Cinderella was overwhelmed with gratitude. "Thank you, fairy godmother. But how will I return home after the ball?" The fairy godmother reassured her. "Fear not, my child. At the stroke of midnight, all shall return to its former state, but until then, enjoy the ball and all the wonders it holds." Cinderella climbed into the carriage, and with a final wave from her fairy godmother, she set off for the royal palace, her heart filled with hope and excitement. As she arrived at the palace gates, she couldn't help but marvel at the grandeur of the ball. It was a sight to behold, with twinkling lights, enchanting music, and elegantly dressed guests. As Cinderella entered the ballroom, all eyes turned to her. She was a vision of beauty and grace, and even the prince himself couldn't take his eyes off her. He approached her, and they danced together as if they were the only two people in the room. Cinderella felt like she was living a dream, and for the first time in her life, she was truly happy. Meanwhile, Lady Tremaine and her daughters had also arrived at the ball. They were determined to win the prince's favor, and they tried to outshine everyone with their extravagant outfits and haughty demeanor. However, the prince barely paid them any attention, for his eyes were fixed on Cinderella alone. As the night wore on, Cinderella and the prince grew closer, sharing stories and laughter. It was as if they had known each other forever. Cinderella had almost forgotten about the passage of time until she heard the palace clock chime 11 times. Panic seized her heart as she remembered the fairy godmother's warning, "I must go." Cinderella exclaimed, breaking away from the prince's embrace. She rushed out of the palace, leaving behind a single glass slipper on the grand staircase. The prince was left bewildered, but he knew he had to find the mysterious maiden who had captured his heart. He picked up the glass slipper and made a decree that it would be fitted onto the foot of every maiden in the kingdom to discover the one it belonged to. Back at the castle, Cinderella's magical transformation began to unravel. Her beautiful gown turned back into rags, and her carriage became a pumpkin once more. She returned home, feeling both grateful for the wonderful night she had experienced and heartbroken that it had come to an end. The next day, news of the prince's search for the owner of the glass slipper spread throughout the kingdom. Cinderella's stepsisters were determined to try on the slipper, but it was clear to everyone that neither of them was the mysterious maiden. Lady Tremaine, however, had other plans. She locked Cinderella in her room, hoping to keep her hidden from the prince's search, but fate had other ideas. A group of friendly animals that had befriended Cinderella during her years of hardship came to her rescue. They managed to retrieve the key to her room and freed her just in time for the arrival of the prince's entourage at their doorstep. Cinderella rushed downstairs, and the prince's eyes widened in amazement as he saw her. She was the mysterious maiden from the ball, and the glass slipper fit her perfectly. Cinderella and the prince were reunited, and their love for each other blossomed. Lady Tremaine and her daughters were left in shock and disbelief as their cruel plans crumbled before them. They could do nothing but watch as Cinderella and the prince were married in a grand ceremony. And the kind and gentle young woman they had mistreated for so long found the happiness and love she deserved. Cinderella's story became a legend in the kingdom, a testament to the power of kindness and the belief that dreams can come true. She and the prince ruled the kingdom with love and compassion, ensuring that their subjects lived. Once upon a time, in the depths of the sparkling blue ocean, there lived a community of cartoon fish who were unlike any other. These fish didn't just swim and eat plankton all day. They had dreams, aspirations, and a zest for adventure that set them apart from their underwater peers. This is the tale of Finlay, Coral, Bubbles, and Squirt, four friends whose lives would soon take them on a journey of epic proportions. Finlay was a vibrant orange clownfish with striking white stripes. His eyes sparkled with curiosity, and he had an insatiable appetite for exploring the uncharted waters beyond the coral reefs. He often boasted to his friends about the incredible stories he had heard from the elders about the fabled Great Abyss, a mysterious and dangerous part of the ocean that no fish had ever returned from. Coral, on the other hand, was a gentle and graceful angelfish, adorned with the most exquisite patterns of turquoise and gold. She possessed an uncanny talent for painting beautiful underwater scenes using the vibrant corals and anemones as her inspiration. Her dream was to one day create a masterpiece that would capture the essence of their colorful world. Bubbles was a bubbly, blue-tang fish who loved to entertain the community with her jokes and funny faces. Her infectious laughter echoed through the coral reef, brightening even the gloomiest of days. Bubbles had a secret desire, though she longed to become a famous stand-up comedian and make all the creatures of the ocean laugh. Lastly, there was Squirt, a small but fiercely determined royal blue tang fish. Squirt had an insatiable thirst for knowledge and spent hours devouring every book he could find in the underwater library. His dream was to become a renowned marine biologist, exploring the hidden wonders of the ocean and uncovering its many mysteries. One sunny morning, as the friends gathered near the coral reef, Finlay announced, "I've decided, my friends. It's time we go on a real adventure, eh?" One sunny morning, as the friends gathered near the coral reef, Finlay announced, "I've decided, my friends. It's time we go on a real adventure and explore the great abyss." Coral was taken aback. "But Finlay, the great abyss is said to be a treacherous place, filled with monstrous creatures and powerful currents. No one has ever come back from there." Bubbles chimed in. "Yeah, it's pretty scary, Finlay. I'd rather stick to telling jokes here in the safety of our reef." Squirt, the voice of reason, added, "Finlay, we should think this through. We need a plan, equipment, and knowledge to survive such a perilous journey." But Finlay's adventurous spirit was not to be swayed. "Don't you see? That's precisely why it's such an exciting adventure. And with Squirt's knowledge, Coral's art, and Bubbles' humor, we'll have everything we need to conquer the great abyss." Reluctantly, his friends agreed, and they began their preparations. Squirt, with his vast knowledge of oceanography, researched the great abyss extensively. He learned about the currents, the creatures that dwelled there, and the challenges they might face. Armed with this information, they set off on their journey, determined to venture into the unknown. As they swam further from the safety of the reef, the water grew darker, and the currents stronger. The friends encountered strange and exotic creatures they had never seen before, like bioluminescent jellyfish and enormous, luminescent squid. They marveled at the beauty of the deep ocean but remained vigilant, knowing that danger could lurk around any corner. Days turned into weeks, and still, the friends pressed on, pushing deeper into the abyss. They faced their fair share of challenges, including encounters with territorial sea creatures and navigating through treacherous underwater caves. But with their unwavering determination and the strength of their friendship, they overcame each obstacle. One day, as they ventured even deeper into the abyss. One day, as they ventured even deeper into the abyss, they stumbled upon a breathtaking underwater cave filled with shimmering crystals. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, and Coral couldn't resist capturing its beauty on her canvas. "This is it," she exclaimed, setting up her easel. "This is the masterpiece I've always dreamed of painting." Coral worked tirelessly, using the vibrant colors of the crystals to create a masterpiece that captured the ethereal beauty of the deep ocean. Her friends watched in awe as she transformed the cave into a work of art. As Coral put the finishing touches on her painting, she realized that the cave's crystals emitted a soft, soothing light. This light, she mused, it could guide us through the rest of the abyss safely. With the newfound light, they continued their journey, deeper and deeper into the abyss. Along the way, they encountered mesmerizing bioluminescent creatures, glowing in vibrant shades of blue and green. Bubbles couldn't help but make jokes about their luminescent friends, and her laughter echoed through the dark waters. Their adventure took them to the very heart of the great abyss, where they discovered a hidden underwater city unlike anything they had ever imagined. The city was inhabited by a diverse community of sea creatures, each with its unique talents and abilities. One of the city's residents, an ancient and wise sea turtle named Oceana, greeted them warmly. She had heard about their journey and was impressed by their bravery and determination. Oceana shared tales of the abyss's history and the incredible creatures that lived there, some of which had never been seen by those living in the shallow waters. But the friends soon learned that the city was facing a grave problem. A powerful and destructive force known as the Dark Current threatened to engulf the city and its inhabitants, destroying everything in its path. Oceana explained that the only way to stop the Dark Current was to retreat. But the friends soon learned that the city was facing a grave problem. A powerful and destructive force known as the Dark Current threatened to engulf the city and its inhabitants, destroying everything in its path. Oceana explained that the only way to stop the Dark Current was to retrieve a magical artifact known as the Abyssal Pearl, which was said to have the power to control the currents. Without hesitation, Finley, Coral, Bubbles, and Squirt volunteered to undertake this perilous quest. They were given directions to the location of the Abyssal Pearl, deep within the treacherous trenches of the abyss. Their journey to retrieve the Abyssal Pearl was their most challenging yet. They encountered monstrous sea creatures, fierce underwater storms, and powerful whirlpools. At times, it seemed as if the ocean itself was trying to thwart their efforts. But the friends pressed on, drawing strength from their unwavering bond and their determination to save the underwater city. Finally, after many trials and tribulations, they reached the location of the Abyssal Pearl. It was nestled in a hidden chamber, guarded by a colossal guardian sea serpent. With their combined skills and courage, they outsmarted the guardian and obtained the precious artifact. As they held the abyssal pearl in their fins, they could feel its immense power coursing through them. With its magic, they were able to manipulate the currents and create a protective barrier around the underwater city, shielding it from the dark current's destructive force. The city's inhabitants cheered in jubilation as the friends returned victorious. Oceana praised their bravery and thanked them for saving their home. The underwater city had a grand celebration in their honor, with colorful dances, music, and feasts of the most delicious underwater delicacies. Over time, the friends grew to love the underwater city and its inhabitants. They decided to stay a while, each using their unique talents to contribute. Friendship, and a sense of wonder. Even cartoon fish could achieve the extraordinary in the vast and mysterious world of the ocean.